What's going on, everybody? How everybody doing this evening? I hope everybody's doing well. It's Tuesday evening. What is it? January the 5th, 2021. Doing I think my second video this year. If I did one, I forgot. I been so busy doing everything else in my daily life. Taking care of my family, what have you, and my family taking care of me as well. But I wanted to do a video that is very important to me that I've been getting a lot of feedback on doing. And just like I told you guys early this morning, if you're, on my social media outlets like Facebook and Instagram, that I was going to do this. Uh, and again, this is very important to me. This video. This video is this going to be called the term family in this society left the father out and brought debt and mental illness in the family in what I should say in the what you call it marginalized groups. Being as though my whole YouTube. Oh, sorry guys. Before I go any further, this is Kasim Lamar, Dream Big podcast. Hope you guys enjoy this video because again, this is a video that is very important to me. And again, this is a big issue in a lot of marginalized groups, especially the Black American group is what I am. For the last five, like I think I told this story before, more than likely I did. For the past 5.5 years, I've been, understanding myself, trying to, be a better me, be a more realistic me, understanding accountability more than I did 10 years ago. As any person, man or woman, when they grow up need to do, no matter if you came from a single parent home or a mother or both parents in a home, or if your parents are, if you was you were a child with co-parents, what have you. And anyway, this family thing is I talk about this family thing, protecting our children, protecting our women, the women that want to be protected anyway. And, understanding that you have to be logical. You have to understand reality, and it's important. So this thing that I want to really talk about in this society that we live in, like single parenting is like, it seemed like we worship it more. It seemed like it's okay to be, for a mother just raising her son or daughter, on her own. But, statistics show a much bigger downfall than what we see from the mainstream media. Meaning that even if you're not with the father or you're not with the mother, it's better being co-parents, and it's better staying, being with the child, helping each other with the child, being with the mother or the father of your child. Either way, the kids need both parents, either way. And things, when I say debt and when I say mental illness, a lot of people came out of raggedy situations that more people in this society, especially Americanized people that believe in a feminist ideology and or believe in the I don't need no man ideology. That's feminist ideology, And it's an outcome where the only people being hurt is the children. I mean, it's people my age, I'm 40 years old and a little bit older, that's really trying to figure life out to this day because we didn't have a matriarchy and a patriarchy household, you know. The young men, we make irrational. A lot of us that came from a single parenting household make bad decisions. And when I say statistically, this is what I mean. Over 75 to 80% of men that's in jail came from a single parent household. Over 80% of uh, um, young women that get pregnant as a teen came from a single parent household. Over 75% of single mothers become in debt. This is why I'm gonna speak from the specifics of the Black community. We spend more because we're alone. See, the feminist ideology made sure this was going to happen in the Black community, especially this came about probably in the late 60s to the 70s. This when Black community was starting to buy being the consumers more than any other group in America. And any other group, marginalized group, followed the Black community as well in America because we was taught that media, mainstream media, or the people that was raising us as well, that we didn't need anybody. We could do this by ourselves. But what we didn't understand is logic and how our children feel about all this. And still to this day, we've seen a lot of mental illness going on in America. And it's a big part of it, in my opinion, and I want to make this clear. All this comes from our perspective, but a lot of this is coming from data that would tell you the difference between a child being raised in a single parent household than a child being raised by the mother and a father. And the thing is, a lot of single parenting, okay, during the 60s and the 70s, before this unaccountability, this degeneracy came through, probably 15 to 20% of Black women, I'm speaking specifically to Black people right now, but this is also other marginalized groups like Hispanic people in America as well, and a lot of white people in America as well. Specifically, during the Black, during the what you call the civil rights movement, Black women that was raised Black children that was coming from a single parent household, it was maybe 20 to 25% that was coming out of a single parent household just after the civil rights legislation came in. I should say just before. I think I said just before. And it was a situation where it hit down bottom. So in the 80s, we talk about 20 years later or something like that, 25 years later, it began to get increased of single parent households by, I think it was 65 to 70 in the 80s. And then in the 90s, it came about 80 to 85% of single kids being raised in single parent households. And we come to 2021, And it's one of those things that people, most people that I know, that I, came across, even including myself, though single, being raised in a single parent household was the thing to be. But but the little thing that we don't know is that this will all the problems begun, because you got children being raised in these single parent households that can't, that usually, because it's, again, it's some children that can, that adapted and did very well. It's a very, very small percentage, but they did very well because, God maybe made them strong minded. They had that keen outlook, and they adjusted to it. But most children that came out of single parent households didn't. And this is what's going on in our society today, with all the mental illness, with all the man against woman shit. And in the Black community, the mainstream media from years, with all these talk shows, with all these all these hate Black men movies, by all these different, within the community, said, Black men ain't shit and you don't need them. Maybe you didn't need them, but your children did. But this goes for Black men as well. And this goes for men in general that come from marginalized communities, that think not being accountable for who you sleep with, including myself, that you think you can leave that child. Sometimes, and it has been sometimes that you had to, because the courts was making it hard for you. You know what I'm saying? But again, who's losing out? And when we talk about debt, and when we talk about mental illness, the child, the generational, uh, the cycle keep going, and it's even worse today. It's even worse today. A lot of these women and men are teaching their sons and daughters how to be unaccountable on who they sleep with, who they make babies with, and things of that nature. A lot of our women in the Black community are very educated. I've been around a lot of educated women, strong-minded women, and things of that nature. But when you look at their children, it's a different case. And even when you look at them, it's a lot of bitterness, a whole lot of bitterness, because it was a generational fuck up that we thought we were against each other, because what the media, the mainstream media told us, and what our mothers and fathers told us. And what we don't understand, you do better having another parent helping you raise that child, or even having a husband, or even having a wife helping you make the decisions that you won't be making situations where you're spending money. All these different factors, these mainstream media, these feminist groups, they knew what they was doing. The Black woman in America could spend more than any other group in America. It's just a fact. And the Black man do too. What they say, we spend trillions of dollars a year. You know, when you have order in your house, your wife will tell you, baby, we can't buy that. We don't have enough funds for that. Vice versa. Your husband will tell you, we can't buy that. We don't have funds for that. But when you don't have anybody telling you these things and you think you could do, you could raise a child by yourself without structure coming from another parent, this is what happens. Uh, you in debt and you have a lot of the kids are dealing with mental illness. And it doesn't mean you walk around doing this. I know people that look very happy, got a successful career, but can't keep a relationship because what it means today, what family means today is mother and children or child, mother and child or children, what have you. It doesn't mean like it did 50, 60 years ago. Mother, father, mother, children. Especially today when we really need a lot of help. We need help mentally. We're struggling here. Things is going on. We're getting in debt because we think we can do it by ourselves. Family was meant for family. Family is not a singular thing. Family is more plural than anything. And I hope that makes sense to you guys because it's important to me. It's important to my life. And I had to wake up. Again, I'm still dealing with issues of me changing my whole thinking because I want to change the cycle. I have, again, as if you guys know my content, you heard me say this story a bunch of times, talk about my kids a bunch of times. I have two older kids and I have a 1-year-old. I should say I have two adults, young adults, my son and daughter, and my 1-year-old son. So I have three kids. And I try to be as structural and respectful to my kids as possible, being so I did not know how to be a man. I had strong men in my family that was in my life, but it was my coaches, it was my godfather. Uh, it was, I was trying to find structure. You know what I'm saying? Because I knew something was wrong with me at an early age, but I didn't start changing my ways until I got to my 30s. It's still growing, but it was very important to me to understand because I've been doing research for the last couple of weeks when it comes to single parenting and the debt that it causes and the mental illness that it causes as well. It's not just the children, but the children is very important. It's the parents that's mentally ill as well. We're not accountable. We have to start being accountable. And I tell young men, I speak to the young man, especially the young black man, before you even think about children, don't do what I done. Before you even think about having a girlfriend, don't do what I done. Find yourself, understand who you are, get to know God, get to know God, and be financially stable. And pick the woman you have children with wisely. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I feel as though if you don't do it, it's going to lead not you just being in debt because you want to have multiple baby mothers. It's going to leave that woman that's raising your child in debt as well. Because again, we came from marginalized groups was brainwashed a long time ago, but especially Black American people. And I can say this because I'm a Black American man. Before you can even think about, I get people all the time talking about things that got to do with the woman and this and that, and third, and how the woman, she needs to follow directions. She need to change. I should say, she need to do this, she need to do that, and stuff like that from some of these content creators. And once in a blue moon, like I see a what you call, what I follow a bunch of them because I always give information. Always get information from everybody, like Kevin Samuels, Chronicles of Judah. That's, if you watch, go watch Chronicles of Judah. If you don't watch anything, go listen to him. That brother kind of changed my life about 4.5 years ago. I ain't gonna lie, changed my life. He started to have me looking at myself as I need to be accountable for my fuck ups. I need to change myself in order to break the cycle. And a lot of these men not telling these young men this. They got these young men worrying about the woman instead of worrying about themselves. Because it's going to take the man to figure out things, to change things. A lot of these women that I came across and friends of mine tell me about, they're not going to change, but that's okay. You need to get on your grind. You need to get on your purpose. You need to, because you don't want another family dealing with debt and mental illness. The only way you could get on your grind and purpose to figure this shit out is you got to learn to live, and you got to be accountable for everything that you put yourself in. You could talk about child support. We could talk about the, all this other stuff, but it's about you, I want you guys to see this video. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to even show a video right now because we going to this thing. I'm going to do a second part of this. I'm either going to do it tonight or I'm going to do it tomorrow, but I'm going to do it. And I want you to I want you to see a couple of clips that I want to show you guys. It's a couple clips but not this video, the next video. And before I go, I want you guys to understand, you must break the cycle, because we're not against each other. Because if we're creating life forces, we must protect that life force. There's too many child molestations. It's too much mental illness, and it's too much debt to try to do it by yourself. You shouldn't want to do it by yourself. But anyway, guys, this is the end of the video. Please like and subscribe to my channel. And again, I'm going to do a second part of this video either tonight or tomorrow. All right. But again, this video is very important to me. As I said before, this is why this needs a second or third part of it. All right. But anyway, like and subscribe to this channel. And if you already subscribed to this channel, thank you for subscribing. And please share this video, because a lot of people need to hear that being a single parent is not helping nobody. Statistically, the majority of the time helping, and it's not helping nobody. Definitely not the children. All right then, guys. Have a great night, and I'm gonna see you with the second part. Peace.